Welcome to Made for More podcast, where faith and personal growth converge. I'm Julia, and I'm honored to guide you on a journey of empowerment and transformation alongside our occasional co-host, Omar. We are passionate believers and advocates for unlocking your God-given full potential. Join us as we explore the intersection of faith, life, business, and relationships, igniting a fire within to embrace the truth that your life is destined for greatness. Together, we'll uncover strategies, insights, and stories that inspire and equip you to become the best version of yourself. Get ready to embark on a fulfilling quest towards personal and professional fulfillment, guided by faith and the unwavering belief that you, my friend, are made for more. Hello. Welcome back to Julia Keeps It Real. I was recently reminded the power of our words. I have a student, my last year in my classroom. She graduated as the valedictorian of her class, and she chose me to be the teacher that celebrates the success with her at the top 10 students in their entire senior class. Had a breakfast at their school. It happened, like I got the email from her with her beautiful cap and gown on a day where, honestly, you question, like, is what I'm doing even working? Am I making an impact? Like, this is such a hard day. Like, being an assistant principal is truly a rewarding job, but it is a hard job. It's one of the hardest jobs I've had. In the classroom, you have your rough kids, but they're your kids, and you have your relationship with them. You see them every day. I was like, you'd rather go to the office and deal with me and my consequences. So I ran a tight ship, but I had fun and with my kids, and it was my four walls, right? But when you move into administration, I don't see them every day. They're not mine, but I still have that relationship and rapport. But I don't know what's going on in the classroom. Having to do the discipline on that, you're seeing all of everyone's rough, challenging children, right? And the parents, and then the teachers, and then the custodians, and then the parents. Like, there's so much that goes on with my job, and you never know what day it could be. And this was the day, I'm not going to lie to y'all, that it was like rough. And I sit down at my desk, and I literally am like feeling defeated. I'm just like, oh my God, like, I want to cry. And I look at my email, and it's like on my screen, and it's literally like, Miss Graham Chapman, you're right. I made it to be the valedictorian. I'm number one in my class. Like, you wrote on my plate. I still have my plate. I want to, when I had anyone that could come, you were the first person that came to mind. I literally bawled like a baby because I was already feeling like, like it was a rough day. And then that was just the sign that I needed. And so I was reminded then the power of your words. But then I sit down at this breakfast with her, and she talks about things that she remembered I said in the classroom. And y'all, I'm like, when she started to say it, I remember saying those things, but that's not something that just I think about at the top of my head. The stuff I mentioned to them about my DR trip, the life lessons and certain quotes that I would say, and my little, Miss Graham Chapman sayings. And, but she remembered them, right? Because they were powerful to her. And I knew that back then, all of my kids may not see the world, but I want to bring the world to them. And if they have the chance to see the world, I want to give them that exposure. I want to give them that fire that ignites in them to want to see the world. So anytime I traveled, I would bring back pictures. I would share my experiences. I wouldn't just teach my kids math. I taught them life lessons and how to be ambitious. And we're going to plan for college. We're going to do a college poster, and we're going to learn about colleges. So I had a big vision for my classroom. And so it's cool to see that paid off multiple times, multiple ways. I get a lot of feedback on that with kids. But it also reminded me how I still have the gift of the power of my words, even in my role now as a coach, even in my role now as an assistant principal. And oftentimes I forget that because things that you could say that could be mean, things that you could say even whenever you're being direct, when you have to be direct, and things that you can say that's positive. I try to do lots of gratitude cards and things like that. And one person in particular told me, like, I've never had an administrator tell me that before. Like, I feel so seen. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. So whatever it is in your life, whether that means you being a mom, you being a dad, you being a coach too, an education too, a boss, or maybe a coworker or whatever, you have power in your words. And I want us to be more cognizant of that and more protective of that, because, I hate when people use the example like, remind that school teacher that said you're never going to be anything, that you're something now. And I'm like, what school teacher did that and said that? Like, I would never use my words for that. But some have done that because it's so powerful that people remember those things and they talk about those things in life. So I just want to remind you that we have the words to make and break people's life, how they feel. And I'm trying to do better at that. I'm definitely not perfect, but I definitely needed that reminder. And I hope somebody else was like, yeah, I probably need that reminder. And I mean that to say too, I'm even going to try to do my best with mending things with people that I need to mend, but making sure I'm careful with my words, right? Because, old Julia would probably just spat out and just say, this is how I feel. Progressed Julia is, okay, how does this sound? These words have power in them. How do I want this other person to feel when they receive them? So let's make sure it's actually being received well. So I hope that's a helpful message and reminder for you guys. I don't know who needs to hear it, but I always feel like, well, actually a lot of people, I love that y'all let me know whenever you're like, that episode was for me. It always makes me feel like, okay, I'm doing the right thing by sharing what's on my mind and heart, and that it's reaching somebody. So that's the cool thing even about this podcast. Like, these are just words that you get to listen to, and there's power in them. So take the power. You have power in your words. Have a great day. I love you. Bye.